reading from, sorry, it caught me off guard. Thank you. We're going to start off a reading from our dear, we're on YouTube. So everybody behave. From a reading from Our Daily Bread from the Spirit of Emmanuel, and it was, how do you say, mediumistically written by Chico Xavier, who passed on to the spiritual plane now. So let's see what the reading of today says. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will in all things grow up into him who is the head, that is Christ. And that's Paul in one of his letters to the Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 15. Because truth is relative, numerous thinkers take the road of absolute negativism, converting materialism into a zone of extreme intellectual disorder. How can we interpret the truth if it appears to be so obscure to the ordinary methods of appreciation? Boasting over superiority, the officious scientist assures that what is real does not go beyond the organized forms, just as the fanatic who admits the divine revelation only in the circle of dogmas that he embraces. Paul, however, offers a rewarding indication to those who wish to penetrate the dominion of the highest knowledge. It is essential to follow the truth in charity without intending to incarcerate it in the prison of restricted definition. Let us convert into love the noble teachings we have received. Truth, summed up with charity, presents spiritual progress as a result of effort. Without taking care of this prerequisite, we will be surprised by vigorous obstacles on the path of sublimation. We are required to grow in every way that experience offers us of usefulness and beauty for the eternity with Jesus Christ. However, we will not achieve its realization without transforming daily the small parcel of truth that we possess into love for our fellow man. Comprehension seeks reality in the same manner as reality seeks comprehension. Therefore, let us be genuine, but above all, let us be righteous. And for today's reflection about today's reading, in today's reading, Emmanuel alerts us to be watchful of the truth, because truth is relative. Numerous thinkers and scientists tend to materialism, converting it into a zone of extreme intellectual disorder. The reading of Paul offers us a rewarding indication to those who wish to penetrate the dominion of highest knowledge, indicating the path to the truth is to be righteous and genuine and always seek love, charity, and comprehension. And with these words, we would invite you guys to join us so that we can do our opening prayer. Let us take a deep breath, taking this wonderful energy that was prepared for us long before we awoke in this morning. Let us elevate our hearts to our Creator in the name of our beloved Master and Teacher, Jesus Christ. Let us pray and ask that the guides of our center watch over our lecturer, our dear brother that comes to enlighten us, that the thoughts that are in Him may help us to become better spiritists, better human beings in general. And we also ask for all our brothers and sisters who couldn't make it here today, and for their family members, with the blessings and the permission from our spiritual guides, we begin our gospel in Becerra de Meneses. It's a pleasure to bring our speaker forward. He's a real dedicated human being, and he works very, very diligently. And I gain a lot of admiration and respect for him. So without any more delay, our brother Gilberto, Rustice. Listen to your heart.
Good morning, everyone. So it's interesting that we started out with this this reading from Emmanuel that talks about truth. It says truth is relative, and that's why we all see things differently, because it's all based on our ability to see our paradigms, our knowledge, our evolution, and then of course we look at the same thing, but we have a different view of that. And scientists have their view that, according, this is part of the message here, their views go to a certain point, never goes beyond this world, and then we have all this confusion. But anyway, that's into our heart. The heart is very close. We don't have to go too far to listen to the heart, right? Right? Oh, okay. So why do I need to listen to my heart? Well, we do have a lot of reasons to do that. Let's start with this famous know thyself. Okay, so if you don't know who you are, and then the other question that comes after that, like what are you doing here, for example? Where do we go from here? And those answers, there's no answer to those. Like, it's almost like if you don't answer the first question, forget about the rest of it. Jump to chapter whatever, when you're feeling one of those. So we've got to know ourselves, but dearly and deeply. And not the one that is in the surface, because that's one is the ego, is not ourselves, but the one that's behind the ego, right in the middle of our soul. Well, I say, what are you talking about? Just to highlight or to make it easier, there are various, the two of me. So what do you mean by that? Well, let's see. For example, there's the old me and the new me. Is there an old of you? That one that had a lot of trouble, and still there's some inclinations to do some of the things that you don't even agree anymore with that, right? And then there's the new of me. The new of me is the one that is actualized. Just like we're going to be after we live here, we're going to have added a little bit more, so actualize ourselves all the time. And then say, well, this is the new me. This is what I would love to be going forward, and forget about the old one. So there's the two of me there. There's the unconscious me, and then there's the conscious me. Most of the day, we spend our lives running around doing unconscious things, just automatically, just those instincts that comes out, run over the conscious part of our mind and just do it. For example, when you react to something, and then you go home and say, why did I do that? Right? Okay, then there is the idealized and the real. Excuse me. The idealized me is the one that I love to be, would love to be. I want everybody to think I am, although I'm not. Okay, but then there is the real me. The real me is the one that goes to bed every night and have those either nice dreams or those nightmares. That's you. And you don't know more than you do. You are not more than you are. And then there's the present me. Let's say you much beyond that. You know who you are right now. You have a good knowledge, good grasp of who you are, what to do and why, where you came from, where you're going to go. and there's the wannabe. Between the two, there is an abysm in there because you have to cross a huge bridge, right? And that bridge requires studying, requires working, requires a lot of effort. We just don't overcome, for example, bad habits by decree. So the wannabe is really difficult to get to, and you need to know where what is it that you're going to go. So otherwise, you cannot even have a good plan how to get there. There are the pseudo-religious and the spiritually honest. So what's the pseudo-religious, the pseudo-spiritist, the pseudo-Catholic? The ones that go, we ask him if he believes in God or whatever we ask him. He may have a very 50,000 feet answer to you. Never got down to ground to understand what religions is all about. What being a spiritist is all about. Then there's the spiritually honest. In an extreme, there are very few, of them. There are very few of them. So this again is the two of us. I claim to be a great speaker. I claim to be this and that and that and that and that. Okay? But it's all pseudo. This is what I want to be. I need to work hard on that every time, every minute. Okay. We said the second one there, unconscious and conscious. Let's take a look at that. So we have the unconscious part of us for illustration purpose. Not so. It's more than that. You see, you have the unconscious part back here, and then the conscious part back here. And this is what it is, really. We always started like for example, the snake. You only have this part of here. It's all you need to choose, all the things that you need to survive. And then God kept adding things to us. The last thing was our consciousness. And that's why we're able to think. Okay. Without the conscious, the unconscious part of you does not think. So it's just acts based on like a program. Okay, so the unconscious part, what you're going to find in there, if you could open, you're going to see it. Your past is in there. Everything, including your previous lives. Whatever you have done so far, whatever you have accumulated in terms of knowledge, good habits, bad habits, religion, faith, it's in there. Your moral evolution, it's all in there in your past. And the conscious part is dealing with the now, here and now. And the short-term memory, of course. Since we are very old, short-term memory could be several decades, but it's still, that's the now. Then in this side here, we have our shadows, the bad part of us, the stuff that we need to work on. Okay? Instincts that are no good anymore. Then here we have progresses. This is only time in our lives, the now, when we can really act and make progress and add something good to us. Then there is the ego in this side here. What is the ego? The ego is that thing that covers up your true self. And why do we need that? It's not that we need that. We need that, but we're not perfect. So our ego is that filter that will reflect what we think of life, how we think of ourselves, how we think of the others, how is going to interpret the world. It's all in there. It's the big filter. Now, the conscious part is the one that has the ability to deal with the self. Here, we act a lot, we react and based on impulses. Here, we use reason. So you see, this is just a way to look at this. There's the two of us. But still, why do I need to listen to my heart? Which are the two most important? Those that are here on Fridays will know this answer, so don't say it. But which are the two most important days in our lives? Anybody know? Except, oh, you know. Okay, let's see.
The day when we was born and the day we know how we are in life. I think
Very
so.
close. Very, very close. Let's say you passed, okay? It's so close that we're gonna give her 9.5, so that's close to 10, which is the maximum, okay? Congratulations. So the day we were born, why is that so? Yes?
Our departure from this life.
Oh, everybody thinks that's the most important, but it may be for some. I mean, though it may be for some. I'll have to admit that it's a very important day because it's almost like you accomplished your mission here and then you're ready to go and your parents are waiting for you and all that stuff and you can celebrate, right? We're not going to discard that as an answer, but for the purpose of for the purpose of today here, we're going to admit there's another one in between the two that is important, okay? That's very good. They were born because, there's a, yes?
Sorry, I just want to make sure I understand that well. The departure, because that day is so important because that's what we collect all the data from this life, and then we're gonna bring into the next life.
Perfect.
This is a place here on Earth. The place here on Earth is to our growth as a spirit.
Right.
And when we departure, we bring all the data, the information we carry on to the next life, which is continued life.
Excellent. No, wow, I couldn't agree more. Everything you said, I will endorse 100%. And actually, as we get to the second part of this slide here, we're going to use what you said. So they were born because, being born, or born is a privilege, is a bench, is a blessing from God, because we have to dispute a little place here, in this world. And right now we're 7 billion people. We started out with, for time when Jesus was here was 300 million, something like that. So we only doubled from 3 to 7 billion over the last 20 years or something. So it's a blessing to be here. And why is it a blessing to be here? Because this is where we're going to work on our agenda to get to a point where we do what our friend said, be done with what we were supposed to be done with here and be ready for the next step, hopefully at a higher level, right? Okay. The next one is the day we find out why we were born. Because we're putting that in between here. If we had to say what are the three most important, let's say we're going to admit that the third would be the day of our death. But we need, if we never ever find out why you have born, so what are you going to accomplish? Right? We have to have a direction in life. We need to know who we are, what we are here for, where we came from, and where we might go to from here, and what we're supposed to be doing in between, right? So, just one little thing. So when you don't find out why you were here and you were ready to depart, you're going to say, oh my God, I wish I had known that 30 years ago. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, just to say, like, the day you find out why, we already know why we're here. We don't remember. But some of us remember very well our reincarnation. So if you do so, it's in your unconscious. It's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Use the faith to know. Sometimes people say, why born so poor? Why born so like, you know,
Okay.
Poor? Then
Yeah.
you choose to be that way.
Oh,
That's you choose to.
okay.
You need to ask yourself and understand.
Okay, and I got you. I got you. Your comments have been real great. I just need you to be a little quicker so that I can have time here to. Yes, you're absolutely right. Some of us, have the privilege to have, for example, if you are born in a spiritist or spiritualized, let's put this way, home, right? So you're gonna find out a lot earlier than those that are born out there in the middle of a war and have no place to go to school or this or that or that or that. But we all have to go through what we have to go through, and nobody's gonna get anywhere without paying your dues or doing your homework. Okay. So Carl Jung said we start as originals and end up our lives as copies. And let's see why he says that. But before he says that, you understand, right? So like we're making copies of something, there's original, then you just have a bunch of copies, okay? What that means is you may decide to be yourself or may decide to be a copy of what they expect you to be. Like, this is what society expects from me, so I'm going to be just like that so that I can fit. And then Karl Jung is telling us there's an urge to become yourself. The more individuated, because becoming ourselves here in this sense, there's a name for that, it's called individuation. The more individuated, the more you may become spiritualized. So you detach from the industry standard and you get into your own world, which hopefully is based upon something higher than both, like the gospel, okay, of Jesus. The more we spiritualize yourself, the happier you're going to be, because you will understand a lot better what you're supposed to go through, why you're suffering, why you're different. There's a lot of rich people out there. How come I was born like this, right? Okay. Coming back. Some references. Oh, I understand. I think I understand what you're saying, but give me something to hang on to. Well, in the incarnate world, it has been discovered by a nurse by asking the question to a ton of people that were expected to die within 3 months. They're dying people, and they all came. I mean, not they all, but the majority would say, "My regret now that I'm about to die is not having lived a life true to myself." So again, he lived a life that was not his, was the industry standard or the society standard, if you will. And then there is, I guess there's the discarnate world. Over there somewhere where we have the hospital, a hospital called Hope. It was really put in there by a great spiritist that lived here I'm not here, but in Brazil many decades ago, and he went over there and he found this hospital particularly to receive and take care of spiritists that come back home and not ready for just step up and go, step up to the plate and just go, and they get in there with some issues. And of course, we're coming from this world, not from a better world, meaning we're all going to have to get over there and going to be needing some adjustments for sure. And then there were, they had like 6 or 7 top of the list in terms of what they were, their illness, their where when they got in there. One of them was having given up on progress, not persevere. Life is too tough. I don't need to suffer like this. I really, don't want to put up with all this. This world is too much for me. I'm now dealing with a child, like a 16 years old kid, who does not want anything from life. So I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to just find out work here and somewhere, whatever. So why you don't want to bet on life? What is it? In his mind, it's not worth the investment. And he came to that conclusion because his father made all investments he could, and then died of cancer 8 years ago. And then his cousin, and then he said, well, why am I going to put up with this? But this is what we don't have to look at, we all can have reasons to believe that there isn't much you can do, and so much so that it's in the gospel. There's some point in there that Jesus call or the high spirits call our attention to the fact that we need to persevere, and those that persevere will finally be saved. In the context that it will come to a point in this world here of so much turbulence, so much conflict, so much this and that you're gonna feel like, oh boy, there's nothing I can do. When we do have to persevere. But then the other one is they have lived a life of hypocrisies. And this is in the sense that you have not really been true to yourself. You have not known yourself as it is. You have lived a life thinking that you were somebody that you were not. Also, by denying your sentiments, by denying the stuff that you were not prepared to be confronted with. So somebody comes to me, or let's say for a minute, comes to my mind that I'm, instead of humble, I'm really more arrogant than humble. And that thing's going to stay in my mind for 30 seconds, and then it's up. Get out of here. That's I don't know what that is. It must be a bad spirit trying to influence me here, right? So we deny what we don't want to see or what we don't want to hear. And we do that much more than you think. So had we, or for example, in the case of these guys, had them early on in their lives do what we're going to talk about here today, which is listen to your heart, they would be much better off, or have been much better off. Okay, listen to your heart means what? Let's see. Means learning to discern between deep sentiments and the large number of feelings and sensations going through you. So at any point in time, we have a ton of sensations going through our body, sentiments as well, and we live in this big turbulence, and we go from one here to there, and all messed up with the fact that we don't stop and think because we are in D drive, so we just let it go, right? Joanna De Angelis, in a book that I can't remember which one is now, says we need at least once a day to have time for ourselves. Stop, okay, and think. It is essential to learn what we really want from life and understand our basic intention. Okay, what is basic intention? We were born with a mission, right? To work on ourselves, perfect ourselves, and all the way back to the Creator. That's our basic intention. And we are compelled to do that. If you fail, there's something in you that it's going to take much longer than the average, but you're not going to be left behind. I mean, abandoned, right? You are going to come back, perhaps through pain. When we have these two ways to learn, through pain and through love. When we don't choose the other one, they put us in the other routes, and okay, so here's what you need. And it is needed to more exactly interpret with honesty what we look for in our existence, something that comes from deep inside our souls. So if you ask your ego what you should be doing in this life, and this 2015 is a great year, in so far so good, and this or that, you have a new job and everything looks good. So you ask your ego how, what you can make out of this year, what you think you're gonna hear. So, well, it's a great year for a new car, right? Actually, the big discounts out there. Well, okay, you're buying a car, right? Okay. But if you ask your sentiments, they're going to say, well, probably it's a good time for you to buy a gospel as well. Or maybe look for a car that comes with a gospel in the glove box. Okay? And then I think you need to pay more attention to where you are in this life relative to where you want to be spiritually speaking. Because we can take advantage of everything that's out there, okay? We can ride new car, okay, Paul said once, or Peter, about the, everything is, you have the free will to do everything you want, except that some things are not very convenient for you. But it's out there. Now, if you have a good balance, right, that's okay. Because you have to take care of the material life, and then you have to take care of your spiritual life. But anyway, coming back here, interpret with honesty. What we're looking for is very important. Okay, so when we do all that, so we have here all the sentiments that around sentiments, the true sentiments have instincts, tendencies, beliefs, traumas. And by developing self-love, which is I love myself, I want the best for myself, and I want the best for my eternal self, then you have to develop, then we're ready to develop and expand something called self-love. Without self-love, you end up destroying your life, for example. You end up wasting your incarnation. So you spent here 90 years, complained 89 of those 90 years, just to get to the other side and say, oh, boy, I wasted 90 years, at least 89 of them. Okay, so self-love is the one that's going to lead you from basic intention to progress, because those that love themselves, they're going to be living a better life, more individuated, the one that, those that know what they're here for, who they are, and that they don't have to comply with society standards. They have to be themselves. Those are the ones that are going to make better progress. Okay, then we need to develop self-love. So how do we do that? Or we're not going to teach how to do that, but by looking at what's the difference between somebody that did not manage to develop self-love versus somebody that did manage to develop self-love. I guess we compare them, we're going to have a good idea what we need to do. The first thing is, those that don't, their lives will reflect external influences. So you are nobody. You have no perfect or very strong self-identity. You are what the others are. You do what the others do. You think the way they think. And you believe in the things they believe. Maybe that thing of multiple reality for the page that Leonardo read at the beginning, maybe that don't exist for those that in the same category. So our lives will reflect what we think it should reflect based on external influences. And there's okay. We become dependent on external approval. So everything you do, you look around to see if you got approval, of your peers, of society, community. So if you don't feel it goes well with your reference group, next time you don't do that again, because you are here to please them. You need their approval. Yeah, Victor, something's not good here. Low self-esteem, of course. What happens is very simple. You live a life that's not yourself, and you manage to disguise very well while there is somebody in front of you or even in the telephone or Skype, but inside